Okay, and so we got 982 1265 6300 passcode 988.
If there's food.
There we go.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, so one of us, I can do this one, whatever. We just got to log out of the audio.
I got it right here. I'm taking this one. Doesn't need it because I'm going to use yours as the host. Yeah. There it is. It's on.
So it's taken a while for these to get there.
Is it? Did you send it to me already though? Didn't you?
I sent them separately because they were kind of big. But it's like, even though it's sent from me, that doesn't mean it's probably got it. That's the first one, and there's two more coming.
Okay.
But this one, it's not even sent.
Okay, I got another one right now.
Okay.
This one, and this is probably from Jim, right?
No, that was actually the one that Julia did. The first one was the one that Jim did. So, and the third one, I kind of stuck them together. Okay, we're gonna try to get started. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Oh. Okay, it's been a difficult month for a lot of people, so things aren't necessarily going to be exactly how the agenda said, but we'll do our best to get through. The first thing I want to talk about was the clock, the upper lake clock, which has been repaired.
It has.
Yes. Bernie Butcher or Tolman bought a part that was missing, and some people from somewhere, I don't know exactly, they fixed it anyway. But the street lights are not fixed. And Bernie said, we got to put pressure on Public Works to activate the PG&E contract to replace all of the lights that they're contractually obligated to replace. Yes, ma'am.
I also noticed the Christmas lights are still on the road down there.
I have no idea.
They're pine cones with.
And they've been there since December.
I think, no, 2 years?
2 years?
I think 2 Christmases now.
Who's?
I don't know who this was.
The street merchants.
Well, this is the ones in the next block. I don't know about right here. I think they're gone from here, but the ones in the next block are still there.
Well, the one in front of the Mexican restaurant, I was thinking of making a new one that says Mexican restaurant, stick it on there.
I just saw it yesterday because I know he said, oh, no, the flags are gone, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's no big deal, but it's, it's supposed to be a seasonal type thing,
So I'm confused.
Somebody gets paid to do that?
On the light poles.
Yes, David, you said something?
No, they're on the light poles. They haven't been changed.
The Christmas
in 2
thing.
years.
So do we know who does that? We don't know who does that?
You got to check.
Which one are we talking
Pat?
about?
The ones right their little stands off every street light.
yeah,
And there's a little banner on it.
They're not the green. They're not the new lights we're talking about. They're out.
The black one, yes, they're
Same ones?
Yeah, same ones.
I thought people.
I thought they said they needed the truck to something like that, right? Didn't they say
Yeah,
that?
Something with the boom truck.
PG&E doesn't have a truck?
No, I'm talking about, I think it was Public Works.
Yeah, that's what Public Works said, but it's not their contract. They have the contract with PG&E does the work.
Okay.
So whoever takes them down is gonna probably keep them, we'll never see them again.
Well, one of the things too, I just wanted to add before we kind of get further into, because I know there's going to be some frustration, and I'll be responsible for the frustration because after the meeting last month, I was saying this earlier, right after the meeting the next day, my mom took a turn for the worse and I lost her. 3 days later. And so I've really been kind of dealing with that and barely got, I still went to the meetings and trudged through them, but I haven't followed up on a lot of things that we were supposed to here. So I want to apologize for that. But I did get, I know some of it's on the agenda for later, but I got Scott and Marina, or Rivers and Water Resources, to commit to next month. They're committed as of today for sure. I can get code enforcement to commit as well. These street lights though, I think that's gonna be the top deal after this year.
I'll PG&E and see what I can learn.
Well,
So-
Bernie suggested that put pressure on public works.
Yeah.
You know, because
We already
theoretically,
we
they
already did that last
They
month.
did,
And
yeah.
now we
well,
got an answer
I
to
think
PG&E.
as a continuing strategy.
Is it public services or public works?
Well, he said public works, I don't know.
Because Bob Allen works for public services. And that's the name that I was given, was Bob Allen.
For the lights.
Yeah.
Well, last month we asked, we all were calling, anybody calling besides me?
Public services.
I did.
Well, I know Lars. had-
Laura's office, and then she told me on there that, oh, yeah, we're gonna have some, act like they're gonna be on.
Yeah, because Lars did call me too, that Thursday, right after our meeting, and so people have been calling him, and he said, if someone's already on it, Bob's on it, and so I just haven't had a chance to follow up.
Okay, so they acknowledged too that they got our call,
Yes. Yeah.
they were gonna get Bob,
Yeah.
Bob Hood,
Bob Allen.
and he's the guy that actually gets in the field and does the work.
He's the supervisor for supervisor.
Start to walk.
Yeah, the line crew, so the line crew somehow that didn't happen, so.
No, it probably did happen, but now we have to, they're working with PG&E. PG&E is bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
We have to contact.
Okay.
I personally would think that you go to public works or whoever, and they go to PG, that should be the chain of command.
They did.
But
I just heard earlier that they were contacting PG&E, their PG&E lights. And they're gonna
Yes.
Fulfill their contract.
yes, exactly, exactly.
And so they, but now we need to rattle PG&E's cage.
So who does the lights in Lucerne at the park?
That's public services as well.
Is that through PG&E too?
I don't think so. I just know Bob Allen, and it's not Bob Allen, it's a different guy on that one. But I know that's what takes care of those, is public services. It's Lars' department, same department. They do parks.
So I'm sorry, so PG&E is contracted to take care of.
I think
the
just for these, I think it's just for these.
But they said there's some off of Main Street, too, there's some lights off Main Street that's supposed, I talked to Debbie over here.
Wall Street.
That's who I was directed to as well from Betsy.
Yeah. And, she says it's the Main Street lights and First and Second Street, I think she said, that are also part of the contract.
And are those lights operable or no?
Just off the top of my head, most of the lights are, like, out of 16 lights.
There is a representative that we have in Lake County. Her name's Melinda Rivera. She works for PG&E.
Oh,
I can, yeah, that's another person we can reach out to. Melinda Rivera.
How do you get a hold of her?
Well, I'm gonna find out. I can get a hold of her right now. However,
What do you want her email?
oh, there you go.
It's a whole freaking town here. Tuesday.
PG&E?
Various, AT&T and they were over at the clock. And I've seen,
Lights as
lights,
well.
because I called again. And they said that is
How
on.
many county orders, right?
Like this week. That's what.
I thought Bernie Butcher had organized that before. I thought he got it going. I'm not-
So they did come by, and so I know for sure that I'll be finding out, tracking down who, I'll talk to Bob Allen or Laws.
Okay, so we need to have like a solid chain of command, and so that, like, if it's.
Once we get that PG&E rep that we can actually, and actually she's getting an email too, so we need to send that.
You might be able to back for.
Let me see, I have it too.
EJ, is it, their county's responsibility to keep them?
The lights?
Yeah.
Well, I know Public Services took credit for needing to do it.
Yeah.
Bob Allen, Lars told me Bob Allen was already on.
Well, that's the answer I got, because I called them 3 times.
Mhm.
So
And they said that they were taking care of
they
it?
were going to take care
Right,
of it.
that's exactly what they told me on that Thursday.
Are you ready?
Okay,
Yes, please.
MRRU at pge.com.
That's Melinda Rivera. She's the rep for Lake County, and she's also, there used to be a guy named Herman Hernandez, I don't know if you remember him, he used to be the rep.
okay, I'd just like to read Bernie Butcher's email. He said, please advise the group at tomorrow's meeting that the town clock was prepared yesterday. The Tallman purchased the needed part, and manager James Butler assisted Aiden and Aaron from Public Services with the installation. The street lights in town, most of which are burned out, have not yet been dealt with. Business owners can put pressure on special districts to get this taken care of by PG&E. Thanks, Bernie. Debbie said that there is a special district in Upper Lake specifically to take care of, or it's part of their function is to take care of these streetlights. So then it would be special district, a special district. Or it's the special district to take care of all the special districts.
Special districts takes care of, they do have lighting areas as well, so, but from when I got the call from Lars, he had mentioned that Bob Allen was taking care of it and using public services. So,
And where is he in the higher?
so Lars and, Lars is the director of public services. Special districts is Scott Carter. Let me see if I can, maybe he sent me an email, but I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Well, once we find out this, we need to just go from there and have a path. Yeah, he never said anything about that, so.
All right, so
Yeah, I think this is just a slice of.
Wait. Some addition?
It just doesn't make sense.
slice of country life.
Okay, actually Scott sent me something on the 18th. Again, that was like, I think the day after we had our meeting. Some additional data on this scenario. My field staff is aware of the light issues a couple of weeks ago. They have been working with PG&E to get the issue resolved. It is not a bulb replacement issue. It is an electric breaker issue. The decorative lights are sectioned into 3 circuits, one for the 2 lights atop the arch, one for the first block of lights, and the third for the last block of lights. The breaker for one of the blocks of lights keeps tripping. PG&E has been out to reset it, and then in parentheses, he put, we can't, as it's their equipment and locked with their locks, but it has continued to trip. PG&E's field staff had indicated that it keeps tripping, and they need to conduct a much larger project to fix the issue. My field staff already has a service request open, and I'll be getting the service request number from them and forwarding to Joan, our government services representative, as she can steward the PG&E project to success. When I hear from Joan, I'll update you again. As always, if you have any questions, I'm available for a call. Again, I did just follow up on that.
What's the date on that?
That was the 18th, so that was right after our meeting.
So it sounds like it's a bigger problem than this.
If it's tripping a breaker, yeah, that's wired and that's a whole bunch of stuff. But if it's PG&E's
What's interesting to me though is, special districts is, different than public services. And I think Bob Allen was the one that took care of the clock, maybe that was the thing. Yeah, okay.
When I talked to them, I talked to Dana,
Mhm.
3 times, and she said that Bob Allen was
Okay.
very aware of it, because I told her about the, coming out of the work meeting. And so that's been a month from meeting to meeting, and
Right.
Well, that's,
it's stark and dangerous, and she goes, well, I'll give it to him, get him on.
this is what they mean by running. The letters.
Yeah, that's the 18th.
That's fine.
I didn't even see this email till just now, so I'm being honest
From
with you. That's the first. That's the first time I've seen it. So, and that at 18th, I was in the hospital.
So I guess we'll
I just
ask.
did a search on it and his name and found it.
Send an email back to him and ask him.
I-
What's the update?
Yeah.
If we can get Melinda Rivera here.
Well, you don't need to now because Scott said he's got an open order with them. Does it make sense?
An open order means that it hasn't been
They're
fixed.
working with PG&E.
Oh, because of
Yeah.
the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Okay, but it would be nice if somebody could inform us exactly like the ongoing process instead of just sort of sitting here without really knowing what they're actually doing.
Or if we report you.
Yeah.
That
You
would,
can tell us.
or we could send it, I could send an email.
What
to-
I'll do is his response I'll send to you.
Yes.
Forward to you.
And I could send an email to Melinda Rivera and say, this is what we got, and is there any information you can give us about timelines and schedules and that kind of thing? Rather than just be sort of sitting in the dark.
For
Waiting for the lights to come back
Say,
on.
lighter later now. Yeah.
And it may make it permanent? Yeah, they're talking about the permanent.
Well, yeah.
Everybody says it's like you want
Already.
They're like,
Yeah, they did.
in the Senate, yeah. They did it in the Senate. Okay, so I'm gonna get in touch with you.
Yeah.
And I will just send you an email in a polite way and say, so next month is going to be pretty important. If you're interested in the levy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we want to get the word out to everybody that's interested that next month we're going to have people from the Water Resources Department. And we'll be in person.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
We can get. Yeah. So, but we need to have as many people as possible. We want them to see that people are upset about it. Hello, Lynn. Oh, yeah, and you got.
Well, I just wanted to.
Bonnie.
Well, I noticed that there was another vehicle, RV type vehicle, I guess, abandoned up by the cemetery. And, in something that just called the code enforcement, that it's supposedly going to remove it. So I would driven up that way to see.
Is it an RV or is it a
It
trailer?
was, that was an RV, driving from
Oh, that's gonna take a minute. The reason those take longer, they're more expensive.
Way more expensive.
Actually, someone put one in front of my house, so.
Oh, is that one of 20 abandoned as well, right over here?
Yeah, that's red tag. I've seen that one's red tag. It's on the little side. Yeah. But I know that, I heard the AVA talked about, they towed, I want to say like 500, mid-range 500 vehicles this last month. Like, or it might be quarter, but that's still quite.
This is where the cars go to die. Well, that's what it seems like. I mean, people driving from all over the state just to leave here. Yes, I don't know if that's funny.
Or you have the people that put them on the property.
On my property.
It would almost be better to say, if you can drive it to the smasher up, we'll pay for it. That would be better than having to do the whole tow thing, wouldn't it? Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that, no, but I'm saying, I'm talking about a program that people know it's coming. If your vehicle's headed for the last, no one. Well, yeah, but it costs us money anyway, it doesn't work.
But then you gotta drive it back.
Say again?
You gotta drive it back. Get the person.
Well, you have your buddy go with you.
And the other thing, Tammy, on the internet, was that there were citizens that were very concerned and very upset about all the garbage that was left at the branch, on the side of branch. Actually, they were trying to, get a group together to clean it up.
Isn't
And
that from the RV department?
yes, and then there was another car, silver car, and a woman was living in it, and she just went, oh gosh, so, it's got a, it's problem.
I saw the sheriff's department. I called the sheriff at the Grange when the motorhome was still there, and then I drove by the next time, and the motorhome wasn't there, but there was a small SUV. Loaded with tons of crap over it.
Well, there was someone living in there for a couple of weeks.
That's what it seems like to me,
No.
is that when we have to go out and clean up all this stuff, it would cost more than just having a skip somewhere and just come and bring this stuff.
No,
I don't know, are those things really expensive, you know?
Well, yeah, it's big. I think
The big thing.
Don't know, this is for something you said.
Not even a guess.
It's $400 for 15 yards.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm pretty sure that's some spot.
But you have a good idea.
Say again?
You have a good idea, right?
I mean, it's because you're gonna pay for it one way or another.
So much money to the person that,
There will be
whoever's
something
taking
else.
it.
Yes,
There is.
So it's.
okay, so it's a benefit to the community. And then
When they cleaned up underneath the bridge,
right out here,
no, they took all the stuff down to the transfer station.
It was,
But, I can't think of it anymore. They stole a lot of alcohol.
so when was this cleanup?
2 years ago?
it was about the patrol,
When they were living underneath,
when the people were all underneath the bridge.
the Caltrans, so anytime that there's a bridge situation like that, Caltrans, if it's in their jurisdiction, we just have to file, and actually Margaret's. the one
That was,
done
yeah, I was saying Margaret.
They could do an eviction, but we had to do it on the Stern as well. And so anytime there's a bridge situation or someone on the highway,
Which is Caltrans.
Caltrans will.
Well, one day Upper Lake Patrol, we all got there, we loaded up a truck and trailer.
Right.
So,
His company took it all for free,
oh, so, but they're not, they don't exist.
but now it's CNS sold, so
Well, they still exist. but You have to call.
higher corporate.
Mhm.
You got to call somebody who's not gonna call you back.
Claudine, I actually found out what happened, just looking at a couple emails that predated the 18th. So, after our meeting, Bob Allen was contacted, went to Lars, that's why Lars called me. And when he meant Bob Allen was on it, he got in touch with Scott Harder, who's the special districts, where Scott Harder, and the email I just read, that's where it went. So it's sitting with Scott Harder and PG&E right now. I sent him an email just now, like you requested, so he can give me an update. As soon as I get it, I'll forward it to you.
And that was Scott Harder?
Yeah.
Okay. And he is what?
Special district.
Special district. Harder?
Harder, yeah, like Hart and then, you guys remember, Jan Coppinger? She retired and then he filled her spot for special districts.
Well, it's good to know that kind of like the chain of command
Mhm.
that our assumption was it was Bob Allen.
Yeah.
And then it must be something that just affected a certain life, because some of them are still on.
Right, and so it was what they said too was, I
Obviously,
think,
there's 3 different circuits.
yeah, but the other thing was, I think he took care of the clock is what Bob Allen took care of. But then special districts took care of the lights. Because special districts that has a lighting district, I know in Clear Lake Oaks, and I know in Nice, and so it's coming back to me now, so. And that's why they're taking care of the lights here. So as soon as I get the response from them, I'll go back to you.
I'd probably still get in touch with them. Just to be contacted, PG. And it's like, if she's a community
Well,
liaison.
that's good, because what she'll do is she'll make sure they get the parts in the work order put to the front. So it is good to still get in touch with Melinda Rivera, because then she'll talk to somebody.
Because she's trying to make everybody love her, right?
Love PG&E.
Yeah. You know, so she is, and she's nice. I mean, it's popular.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Who would you call to report a piece of property? that looks like a third world
Code enforcement.
country?
I've been down my street.
Well, there's a tree that broke off, hit a ball, crushed the ball. One of the walls is leaning out, 2x4.
The roof is happening.
It's on their property, not gonna kill somebody.
Then those big metal sheets that comes up.
It's been like that for 2 years.
So that's a summary, that could be a summary abatement as well. What ad, do you know the address?
The big lane, it's like, 960.
So it's on Pitney Lane and you can't miss it? Is that-
Yeah, if you go in, you can
So
take
what,
the
where the white fence is,
the property
it's
was
the big barn there
like.
and the house
So
here.
where the ranch is it right past that bridge and then you see it there? Is that the one?
Right, and when you go over the bridge,
Mhm.
then the white fence starts, it's that barn and the house next to it.
Used to be called another one.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
That house,
I mean, you know, she's all freaked out about it, you know, it's bringing the property value down,
Yeah. It looks like a third world country.
but,
Well, I've seen a lot of.
they had a dog pound
But
out there.
I've had to call
dogs
animal
and
control.
running.
When your goats and dogs are in the street every day, and you have to stop them all. You know, it's crazy.
It's just, you know, Thomas has something to say about loose animals.
Well, I've dealt with this issue personally on my street, which is Floyd.
Oh, he actually answered me right away.
Okay, let's,
So that's what I'm telling Scott, that when you guys mentioned Scott's name, I knew, because he's on it, like he does this. So unfortunately, I haven't heard an update from PG&E on this yet, so I don't have a status update for your town hall meeting tonight. I can call Joanne with PG&E tomorrow and see what I can determine. I'm sorry, I don't have more details at this time.
Oh, that sounds good. That's instant. Yeah, instant.
give them, how long are you giving? 8 hours?
Once to fix it. Yeah, but it's interesting that, oh, yeah, because they're different circuits. So, because Claudia was saying some lights are on, some lights are not on.
Lennox said, he said it keeps blowing a fuse.
Yeah, but there, I think, there's 3 different circuits, so you might have one light on and one next to it is not on. So. Well, sure. Or, yeah, yes, that's.
I usually don't get
That's one of
emails
the.
like a day or two, so, yeah, that's.
So if I could add one more thing, the concern for me dealing with the loose animal, I have to take it further from this. I think they really are a combination of both code enforcement and continuation of animal control abatement in this community. Because I've dealt with loose pit
Animal
bulls.
control has been out there quite a few times now.
Well, what have they done about it?
I don't know.
They put up a fence. Dogs do underneath it. Even people on the street that walk, they're friendly dogs.
No, I don't think, I don't think it matters if they're friendly or not. You don't have, if you're walking your dog by the dogs that I have out on the street, they'll attack my dog, probably lockjaw, pit bull, lock it, and then you'll maim or kill my dog. And I have nothing, the owner is a felon, so he's not gonna. So these pit bulls that I have dealing with have fought in front of me 2 weeks ago, and I called 911. Code enforcement officer called me, and she knows this guy, knows him by name. She knows the dog's name. And then I did see her come out because I did this anonymously because I don't trust him.
Have you done any of these online?
No, I just couldn't call
So here's,
I've actually talked to one of them, Mary. But the thing that was frustrating me about the situation is the communication of At one point I said, well, he's out again, and she goes, she's dealt with this guy, but she goes, we can't be everywhere, you know? So I think the effective communication.
Is it just squeaky wheel?
Yeah, and so that's.
She came out, I watched her with him, and he put his dogs in the car, and, I don't know what she said to him.
Is there a limit how many dogs the person can have?
I just wanna know if they can cite him, you know, when are they ready to cite him? There is an ordinance for which dog.
Right.
But I don't think she cited him, because she left, and the next morning they're out of here.
Well, here's the reporting.
Well, they know who I am, and she knows who I am, I've told her 4 or 5 times.
Here's that's the spay and neuter ordinance. That's not that one.
EJ, what is that?
This is, so to get to this, what you'll do is, and here, let me put this, I want to show you how, because this is the key, and I had to figure this out too myself. So what you do is so when you go to the Lake County website right here, it comes up like that. And so what I do to get to, if anytime you want to look at, like, let's say for instance, GIS mapping, that has to do with like tax defaulted properties and stuff. You can find those on there. Or if you want to look up an address on the map, that's where you go right to. But if you want to go to like code enforcement or anything like that, just go to departments, and it lists them all right here. And so I went to animal care and control, and then you go to their website right here, click on that. And then the resources and services right here, it says report animal problem. And then that's where you go and you type that in. Calling's fine too, but the best way they have to answer is when it's
You can
emailed.
get more detail, but.
Yeah.
They didn't have a paper trail.
Yeah, and then they can call you back here, and then you can answer. And I'm not sure if you can. Yeah, I think yeah.
Well, I just call them. I actually have a phone number on the phone because, it's, you know, been a constant problem with,
Like, I pick up kids every day, and I'm coming down the street to go to my house. The dogs are around the van, and the kids are like, don't hit them, don't hit them. And I can hear it barking, but I can't see them. I'm like, I go so slow because I'm thinking, I'm gonna hit these dogs, you know? But I don't want to do that, but.
Then has anyone called at all? Or
Animal control's been out.
Yeah, they've been out.
they don't do nothing about it?
No, they,
I don't know what they, I do it's still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, to see it, even if we take pictures, we still need to see it personally.
that's what they said in Utah, so they said they have to see.
I had a pit bull fight out in front of me. I had an neighbor up the street, came down with his pit bull, went to visit, because all these felons know each other, right? And, they're like a club. And they came down to visit the other guy, and his pit bull was over there. Her name was, Mary knows this pit bull, but she helped this guy. Anyway, it's a longer story than that. She gave this pit bull back to him. I don't know why that happened. But anyway, the other pit bull came, and soon there was a fight. And one of the owners on the ground, and I called 911. And the guy pulled his pit bull off the other pit bull and took his pit bull back up to his house up the street. And Mary called me back half an hour later and told me, well, it's not priority, it's not happening.
Oh.
So I go, okay, well, and then I think they came out Monday after that. They don't work, oh, that's another thing, they don't work Saturdays. Now we gotta get animal control to work every day of the week. Because criminals don't, I told her, criminals don't take their job.
Like, they did ask me if the dogs were out when I called, but I said they're out right
It's
now.
it's almost like the frustration on my part is it's like they want to protect the animals, not the safety of the people that's calling, or the safety of other animals that have to be walked. I can't walk my dog down the street.
Well, here's an example. 5 years ago, I'm gonna say, I was working over in the county. I'm up on Lakeview. I see some people that walk, I've got familiar with. And I said, what happened to you? It's all, he says, I was walking my dog up Lakeview, a pit bull jumped over the fence and tried to attack my dog. So I picked my dog up, and the pit bull attacked him. The next day, the sheriffs were there, along with animal control, took it and used it right there.
So what it takes is somebody to get hurt to do it.
No, but that's a logical, a way of irrational thinking, that you wanna have some wait for someone to get hurt before you have to, deal with it.
That should never
It should be
happen.
never happen, it should be proactive. And there should be citing on to the person, if this happens again, you're gonna get fined, or we're gonna take your dog away.
How many times have you complained about the animal?
I myself did it twice. I heard someone else has done it a couple times, so I don't know.
So from now on, when you report it, call it a nuisance animal, because in the ordinance, it says nuisance animal means an animal about which animal care and control department has had 3 or more separate complaints within a 6-month period. And I think that it might make them act faster, if that makes sense.
Wait, no, they chase walkers, they chase bike riders.
Yeah, also, if it's you doing all the complaining, that might.
No,
not as
she
good.
said other people have.
Oh, okay, but, yeah, bunch of different people.
But it helped more if she went online and filled out. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, because I think wording, other than someone just taking notes. Yeah, exactly.
I think,
EJ told me, should have had to get on. So we could do that.
I think too, if you could get some other people that, you know,
Yes.
you're pretty sure, I would even just record it, show a couple of your friends and they make the complaints too. I mean, I know it's a kind of like, in the military, we did things like that because we wanted to get things done. So, I mean, I know it's not like, you know, like we didn't really truly witness the animal, but at the same time, we know what's happening. So it's, you know, I don't mind even putting one in too, if you want to email me at the same, you know, because I do the same thing with code. Code enforcement, if someone tags me or emails me in it, I'll put the code number in there and make a
Oh,
complaint too.
I know I see it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there is also an epidemic with dogs like that. I see that constantly. So people aren't being responsible for their actions. Now, are they supposed to be licensed? I know Mendocino County.
There's a leash law. You're supposed to be on a leash.
Right.
Yeah.
All dogs in Lake County are supposed to be licensed.
They are.
And if they're not altered, it's a very big license fee.
Yeah.
I know Mendocino County had that law, but I didn't know.
That's why I wanted to get Jonathan back out here, because diving deeper into my own personal issue, it's a mirror issue.
And I have one as
Other
well.
issues.
I have a German Shepherd, unneutered, really aggressive, chased my dog home twice now, 2 days in a row. Big old thing, and the guy, all he does is apologize, sorry.
Well,
No, I don't like that.
This is where we call and we explain the law. If it's unneutered,
Yeah, it's,
report that, they'll go out and see if that person is a breeder. If it's not a breeder, they gotta get the dog.
you know, and I need to report him. I didn't want to report him because I don't,
Yeah,
I wanted to
but
be a nice guy. But I'm going to, because I'm tired of this big German.
Well, the people, these nice people, they're felons, or they have priors. I tried talking to this guy too, that had this pit bull initially, and he's irrational.
Yeah.
He had a pit bull out the next day. He wanted to know what to do.
That's what
You know, so these people are, I can say, worse things. We don't know what they are.
Did it show you could do that anonymously online?
Yeah, you can do that anonymously.
Okay. I was just even.
No, you know what, they're gonna know.
Yeah, they allow that.
I don't care if they,
Yeah.
you know, the dog will be in my lawn and go, what's gonna happen?
I've almost stopped, but I think I gotta wait for the kids, so I'm just gonna go down.
What I can do too, is it the same address as that broken down barn?
Yeah.
The same address?
It's,
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same as ours.
I think it is, I don't know.
Oh, it's like the same place.
If it's the same
It's the
place.
barn, and
Yeah,
then there's a motorhome park next to the other building, and then the house. The
okay,
house is the caretaker, supposedly the caretaker to the business.
okay. Well, then I can make one too, if I know that address. What kind of animals are they?
Have you used it, if you Google search,
I think we got 3 dogs.
What kind?
5.
I don't
Okay.
know. They got
Dogs, goats, chickens.
The dogs even sleep in the building next to the street.
Oh, yeah, you guys. You can see how fast they're dead.
Oh, that's worse than it is. They don't come out to you guys either?
And we've had meetings and talk, we even have our own ordinance. So we find some of our folks that that are out there.
Oh, yeah.
That's about it.
Did they end up getting that ordinance? Because I know they were working on it with Anita, and I know Robinson was too. And I know another thing that happened, and this is with the tribes, because during the time when all the tribes were giving towards gaming funding,
Yeah.
they were working on trying to. I know Big Valley wanted to do their own, what do you call that, pound, but I know that they were going to work on it with each tribe and ordinance. As long as it matches the county ordinance, they can come out and serve you.
Yeah, they had mentioned that the former director had talked about there was funding at one time, and they were trying to work with the tribe, but no one responded. So they kind of just let it go.
Animal control director?
Yeah, there was a former one before.
Okay, yeah, so John actually came to me about the ordinances, and so Anita had those for the tribes, and so yeah.
The one time they came out and picked up the dog was when that kid. They knew it wasn't licensed, wasn't, didn't have training shots. So they get two out, kids, picked up the dog, and it was pretty, you know, all the dogs out there, the restaurants and stuff that are out there, they stand in the middle of the road, they attack people, you know, the usual stuff.
But they're running packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did say that they would attempt to come out too, that they were talking about being understaffed and stuff. They said if we could trap the dog, they would come out and get it, or if we take a picture of them, because there's so many out there. And some of the folks out there are vindictive towards each other too. So they'll say, well, those are bad dogs. They don't want to take the wrong ones.
That's a hard part.
Yeah.
Is animal control under the sheriff's department?
No, they're separate. But I know, like, on the road map task force and Clear Lake Oaks, they're part of that whole task force.
Who's the owner of animal control?
Who's the
We
director?
had animal control get work at the meeting once, and they said they hired on more people and we're open on Saturdays.
Right.
Remember?
Okay, Jonathan came here.
But COVID did away with
How long
that.
ago?
It was
Just a
4
couple
or 5
months.
months ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that far
Was
back.
it that long ago?
Well, I know, Jonathan was invited, because I asked him to come down here, but, taking him back here, because it's obviously a bigger problem that's going on here, they're not effectively.
Because I think we're talking about cats.
Okay.
Well, they do have a good cat program, because I took in 3 of our strays over there, and the wife hasn't got it fixed. But cats don't come, I ride a bike a lot, they don't chase me down the street.
What I can do is, because you have, I mean, I'm pretty sure with code enforcement and water resources next month, you're not gonna have time for, yeah.
Then we can do it in May.
I can get him in May.
Because I just don't think they're being, with all these testimonies you're seeing, we're not seeing the effective power that they may have or want to do. Maybe they don't, I don't know. I mean, Mary doesn't tell me anything because I'm anonymous. But she's told me that. I can't tell you anything because you're anonymous. So, okay, I don't want to be telling you, I don't want to be sharing. I don't trust the guy.
Well, I know they're cool, because I went there Monday. I mean, what I mean full is all their cages are full of dogs. I know in the dog area, I didn't see any dog.
So I've seen signs laying down, I tell you what, people about this. Big green billboard, state something about if a dog is loose and runs farm animals, they could be shot. You see those signs?
Yeah, absolutely. In Sonoma County.
Well, I've seen them here, but I can't remember where it's, but it says if a dog runs farm animals, it could be shot by whoever.
I think that if it goes on their land, of course.
So these dogs come down on your house and chase her chickens, like she did. Chicken.
That's a fair question, but I mean,
Because we had neighbors and there's living chickens right and left, and they don't know how it's being done. When I go to work in the morning, I see dogs all over the street.
Are they, so they're in your yard though?
Well, they can't get in our yard, because there's, that's the fence of the street. Now, the neighbor, she's got different problems, so that's. Now, I've seen a sign,
These sort of come off at Century.
You see
Century
those?
sign.
You're not really seeing their signs, and it's, cut off. Or maybe like a billboard or something?
Yeah, it's a big building.
Oh, what's there?
Probably like a 15-foot sign grade.
I'll have to check it out, 'cause I didn't see
Did
it.
it have like
Yeah, that'll
a
be-
county ordinance number on it?
I think it did.
So next time you see it, take a picture of it.
It would be in the ordinance right here, so.
Yeah.
let's see.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's got to come down to somebody needing to encourage people to do it, not somebody just.
Oh,
gonna have
that's
to-
what it sounds
Yeah.
like, it's people, especially.
Okay. Right, so,
It's the ones that lives. Oh, we got those.
you ever run into any crazy dogs?
Only one German Shepherd, but I think it's the one that ended up over here that got hit or whatever. No, my dog is pretty crazy. They're not vicious, but they're very, yeah, they like to say hello to people and, you know, I've got them on shock collars.
Okay, so it appears that next month, Scott DeLeon is going to be here.
It's either Scott or Marino, but
Marino, yeah.
Scott's the one that committed to having.
Somebody's
someone
gonna be here in person.
Yes.
Okay, so we can, I've got 3 different versions of this letter. We're gonna look at it tonight, and we're gonna decide
Which one?
which one, and, or, you know, I mean,
My apologies for being late.
that's all right.
My apology also, because I didn't get a chance to follow up. I got told everyone
You're
else.
wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
I-
sorry.
But I want to make sure we get this taken care of, though, and
Well, if I were Lord County Board of Supervisors, I would be very concerned that there's no Public Information Request Act of anything, which is a big violation.
Did you
well,
try
you
to
put one in, I know they're working on it.
Yeah, they are. I had to, everything's supposed to be done in 10 days. It's a lot of information, so I get it. And I just told them I'm gonna keep putting them in every 10 days until the information comes.
I know they're
And that's
working on
what-
it, because that's what I called Scott
Yeah, but
one
be
day. and he
aware
called
that
back.
every county on the planet has an online Public Information Request Act request. And then it goes out to the different departments to respond to, and you go back to that website to get it. Lake County has 0 information anywhere on the website. And that's why I emailed Carol, because I know executive offices typically run Public Information Request Acts out of their department, but not always. Sometimes it's out of another department, rarely.
So, and this is like freedom of information?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, which the county right now is in violation of.
And does that mean that any public information that belongs to the county has to be provided? And you don't have to pay for it?
No, within 10 business days. You can, some counties have ordinances that say if it's over 1 page or over 3 pages, you've got to pay money, but.
Ours doesn't yet, yeah. I know.
So
There's
we
nothing
we don't
new,
have
there's
that
nothing.
mechanism implemented.
No, the only thing I know is when they tell me we got to get things up, that's what we give up, emails or whatever. So that's all I know about it right now. But I did get a report from RCRC that they're working on at state level public information act requests to accommodate for kind of some of what you're talking about when it comes to paying for it, because it's
Right now, they
at times it's overwhelming a lot of staffs in different counties, and so sometimes, like for example, yours is the legitimate one. You want to know the information it needs to be. There's some people that are doing it just to kind of
Mess with you.
well, news sources are doing it purposely like this to, yeah. So, right, yeah.
The county?
Well, news sources, that's why it was created, just so you guys know, was for the news to be able to get public information to provide to the public. Back, I think in the Reagan era is when it went into effect. Don't quote me on that.
But this was a
This is
national thing.
Yeah, this is a, you know, a pretty big deal, and the fact, you know, if I were on the board of supervisors, I would be like, okay, we're super liable right now, what are you guys gonna do about that? I don't want that liability, you know? And-
But it
and
almost
then
sounds like
it's
you have to-
staff.
It almost sounds like you have to have a specific department that did nothing but that.
No, you just need a website, you know, get your IT, get the website up, and then it goes to the different departments depending upon what it's about. You know, if it's about assessor parcel numbers or something, then it goes to the assessor's office.
But you were talking about getting the information about the
Levy, the levy.
Army Corps of Engineers, their engineering information about
I've
how
asked-
deep it's supposed to be. And
No, what I asked for was the quarry digging inspection reports, which would tell us how deep it's supposed to be. When they were excavating, the county came out and did reports to make sure that they weren't violating the contract to be able to do that. And so that's gonna give us our depth and width, in my opinion. And I asked for expenses and budget, you know, income and expenses in
Funding.
regards to that, both income and expenses. And then I asked for all LSA applications and agreements. I'm very concerned that the LSA agreement that was applied for may not include all the things it needs to, because there hasn't been one, so it's definitely work. So, you know, it's just stuff that, it's stuff that we need, it's stuff I want personally, because I can't get insurance to cover a levy breach or break. No one will cover me, and I've got properties here. So that's my main investment, and so I'm trying to get my fingers on what's actually happening so that I can see if I can get flood insurance, you know, I'm trying to protect myself.
so, but in this process that you're going through, you're going to report to us what you have to go through to get the information.
No, I'm giving you the information. You need it.
But I mean, I want people to understand the process too.
Oh, yeah. So it's a public information request process. So anywhere in our country, any public member can request information from the county. And as long as it doesn't violate HIPAA regulations or contract labor regulations, which includes unions, they can give it to you. They can give it to you redacted, meaning the part that would violate those can be redacted and you can still get the information. And I requested information about the levy, so we have some idea of really what's going on and what we're facing, instead of kind of this, oh yeah, we're working on it.
So, yeah, we don't want to be in a situation where it's us against them or
No.
anything like that. It just says, this is how it was, this is how it should be,
Right,
and we want that to return to its unnatural state.
right. Right, unfortunately, it is an unnatural state.
Well, we can't do much about that.
Right,
That's what we did.
So this is all we have, I think, in our code right here, is what we're talking about.
the dogs.
No, public records 24-11. I'm not sure if that's even the right one. I just put a search on it and it just went to this. Let me see. Yeah, that's all. I don't even think that's for surface mining. It's not even the
Yeah.
right one.
And that's what they were doing with levy, surface mining, right? Way back when, Larry Henry was, which I don't have that picture. He sent me a picture of flood in 2005.
This one right here?
2006.
This is surface mining.
Anyway, you guys don't have anything. I'm telling you the truth. It's
Well,
unfortunate.
unfortunately, there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
put us in a liable situation. And
Time to hold staff accountable.
I know you guys say that, but we're like really low on staff. It's hard to retain and see them. So we're doing it. It just, there's things I can't tell you that we're doing either when it comes to evaluations and working with the people that are in charge of the departments. And I won't share that. So that's why you'll see me just kind of sit here and listen to you, because I'm aware and I'm not going to share with you who we're trying to ensure that some of these things happen. So I get it. And
Well, you're no.
I mean,
You're following the rules.
what you can do is, I could tell you and then they can misdemeanor me and then
Right.
petition me to get off and then
Yeah.
You
he's
guys can
following
get-
the rules.
you can get an extreme left or an extreme right person and for 4 years, one side's not gonna be heard and it's gonna swing back and forth each way and then you'll be in that mess, but.
Yes, it does.
So I'm giving you the paths that you can take.
So you're trying to tell us without telling us that there is accountability, we just can't talk
There will be accountability and there is things that we need to fix, especially that's one of them and. there's-
Staffing issues and stuff?
Yeah.
And
And it's not just Lake County, guys. I work in five
You
counties.
know,
It's all Northern California, these smaller rural poor counties.
Right.
Salaries aren't that high, you're not attracting good quality people. Although the pandemic, even though it's kind of made people not really want to work, is actually allowing us to get a better pool of applicants.
I've tried to get on code enforcement 5 different times, and they rejected me 5 different times.
Yeah, I've been so frustrated.
But that's, I just say that because you brought up the whole staffing issue.
And I've
So,
done,
yeah.
I've done everything aside from force them to hire and like,
So,
that's
I
even.
have
other
20 years in business and could be an asset to them, but I can't even get rid of them. Anyway,
That's another story.
I think all counties are accountable for their actions, but we live here in this town.
Right.
So I think we can, we can be better than this county, or any county.
I was agree with you.
Yeah, and
Hopefully,
it all comes down to basically, we are the government. And we have to,
Well, you are, you guys are.
you are our representative.
But you're the municipal advisory committee and
The
you,
consent of the government.
and so what happens is with this process here, the letter you're doing, those are the type of things you do to accentuate what the town needs,
But it's
or
like-
the area needs.
It's like, I was thinking, if you sued the county, you have to pay for it.
Of course.
So-
Well, and you're gonna get pushback if you sue the county.
Yeah, of course.
So why do it? That's the other
But
thing.
we want to do everything that we possibly can to make people love us.
Well, I don't know about that, but definitely have a functional working relationship.
It's just doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
holding them
yeah.
to it, like constantly asking and being the wheel, that's how
And it's
things.
sort of like, if
the way the system's
there's
set
a
up.
problem, we want to know if there's something we can do to help. So that's, anyway. So, you're gonna put up our little letters? Can we-
Oh, yeah.
Put up our,
Sorry.
no, sorry. Our 14-page letter.
Ah,
Well, with all the photos. in it.
yeah, I think it's great. That's-
Which one do you want me to start with?
Well, it's the one, it's either not numbered. If it says V1, that would be nice. If it's, because everyone says V2 and V3, that is the first one, yes.
So this one's the one you want to start with, or?
Yes. Okay, so this one was more or less written by Jim Steele. And I sent this one to you, I'm pretty sure I did, and then, or maybe not, okay. So,
No, I like the format.
yes, so I'm not gonna try to read it. If anybody, I suppose, if anybody wants to read it, I can email it.
I want to read it.
Yeah, that, you for sure. But I mean, if anybody else wants, we can make a list and people just,
I can get it from you.
Yeah.
because it's like, making it- I didn't print out 14 pages. I wasn't gonna print out like 20 copies, 14 pages.
Yeah, let me send it.
Front and back.
It's 3 PDF files and they're 6 megabytes each. So they're not small.
Tim just sent this to me, so let me see if this is the one.
So, but,
Is this the one right here?
what? What are we looking at?
So there's 3 letters.
Yes, the other ones say V2 and V3. Or
Which one's the one that Jim sent?
this one, this
That's
one.
out now.
This
I
one.
like the format.
Because I want to send it to you.
Thank you.
Is that the end?
That's the beginning. There's, I think 3 pages of text and like
I like the format.
7 pages of photographs. like some of those, like, Pitney Bridge.
Should we see them?
The photos? Yeah, if easy.
Yeah, maybe next time you
Yeah.
can print out
What-
three and people
what's
can
your-
pass them around and look at. You know what I mean? Just print out.
Next month.
Yeah, or whenever. If
Well,
this is-
I want to have one we can give to Scott DeLeon.
Oh, yeah, good idea. But it needs to go to the board of supervisors.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Just a picture.
Yeah.
This is,
What it used to look
Really?
like.
this is picture number one.
And that's what it should look like.
This is Middle Creek, this is Middle Creek. I think when they first built the,
That's in my
built the
backyard.
levees, right? And then the next one down is south of 20. So I mean, hey, that's rare. And the next picture down is, this is from Scott's Creek looking north. So there's 20 up there.
That's the levy.
Yeah, that is the levee on natural.
Look at how wide it is.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like, it doesn't even look like the same place.
No, it doesn't.
And the next one down is, this is Clover Creek diversion now, or I'm not exactly sure what this picture is there. But this is all in the middle.
This is in the middle, yeah, right here.
That's all in the
That's what
middle
the
of the
middle looks
channel.
like.
And the next one down,
And that's all the flood area that's got water.
that's just about on top of the levee right there.
Yep,
And this is the bank on the Clover Creek diversion being destroyed. And this is all the,
Mhm.
All in the center.
yeah,
This is in the center, right?
yes.
So this has been neglected for a while.
yeah,
Decades,
yeah.
decades,
That's
30,
why I'm
40
asking
years.
for all this information.
This is where
We've been,
Julie, we walked, first one, Julie, this is we walked along here. And the next one down,
Oh, that one.
more of the same, this is like showing more of the,
and you guys, now, that whole area has sunk about a foot. It's
Since-
all gonna go.
since this picture is taken,
It's all gonna go.
it's all gonna slough in,
Yeah.
as you say.
The levee is completely saturated.
Yep,
If you walk on that, it's like walking on a ball.
yep.
Because of just the rain we've had in the last couple of months.
There's no drainage.
Yeah.
It's just sitting water.
Yeah,
Right.
Where
But
before it
that's-
used to flow away.
Right.
yeah,
It sits because of everything that's built in.
yeah, there's natural damage happening.
And the next picture down is probably, this is, the alley bridge, alley creek bridge at Pitney Lane.
Yeah.
And this was, I don't know when this was.
It looks like it was just recently, like, I want to say,
So see,
like November.
The water you're seeing there goes into the bridge, but it's not the bridge where the tree is.
Uh-huh.
It goes from like, we're gonna just use 15 foot on this side, and it goes into the bridge, it goes down to like 5 foot.
Mhm.
So all that water backs up because I got to.
Well, the next picture, you can see part of the reason why the water backs up.
Yeah.
And that-
Yeah, too much grass.
all this ground here, all, and vegetation in the channel, you lose capacity.
Absolutely.
This,
Good job,
That's why
Tim,
we
you
flood.
educated
the
yourself. Good
slower, the
job.
slower the water flows, the more deposits you get.
That's right.
It's like, I remember we had a blocked culvert, and you couldn't even see it, it was underground. And it was like, when we cleared it just rushed, everything went away. All the stuff that was blocking, it just took it all away. But if you make it so it's, the vegetation in the channel slows the water down, the slow water deposits the gravel, which compounds the problem, and it just keeps building up and up.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Ready for the next one?
Thank you. Yeah. You do.
Oh, yeah.
You go back to the bridge one?
See the bridge?
Yeah.
You look past the bridge, you'll see the white fence we were talking about.
Yes.
And if you look up there, you'll see the barn.
That's the barn. Yeah, that's
That's
right,
the
yeah.
barn that was falling
That
down.
was full when I came out.
That's the one that had
Yeah.
That's the one that looks
That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's when I actually seen the barn, that's when I seen it, because, I seen Bob and John, or Frank, John, but I seen John, or Frank and Bob, and they were just, Bob was upset, because it was like real close.
Bob Partita.
Partita, yeah, and so, I
He
drove
was
out.
flooding his house.
Yeah.
Right, and so, I think it was, Eddie, he's one of the coaches, but he was out there making sure to mark things off.
Didn't the county a few years ago, that's the big thing, gravel out there. Yes,
20
that
years
was the
ago.
idea.
Not 5 years ago.
No, not
I
that
don't know when
recent.
the last OSA agreement was in place.
The-
That's
the-
why I've asked for it.
What did they call the bridge? The first bridge, what did they call it? Anderson? Remember Larry called it something?
I wasn't there.
He said that the graders used to go underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
To clear out the channel.
That's amazing. It was Larry's. that did it.
We got determined.
So,
Well, they did an investigation against him. I don't know what he did. I don't know why they did it, but
that he was selling gravel.
No, I know my
I don't
neighbors
know.
were selling the
I don't know.
gravel.
I don't know, it's just a lie.
They
So, and then the last
I don't
couple
know.
pictures.
were all selling gravel.
I
This
think
is-
they are on order. I think you're right.
That's Julie's dogs. So, and then the next one down. That's what it looks like. And then the next one.
It's just slugging up. Do you see how the edge is going down?
Right here,
Yeah, that slope. No, where the grass is sloping. It's sunk down even more.
Wow.
We're gonna lose another chunk.
And you said something about it being a water quality issue too.
Oh, definitely.
If the,
Definitely, for sure.
if the dirt goes into the.
Oh, definitely. It's number one, the poor, hitch. That's the biggest issue. But water quality is another issue. All that silt that's going somewhere.
and the more of that silt that goes in,
We used to have fish here all the time, 20 years ago.
it can't get up.
Wow.
No, they can't.
My son used to go down there and they'd be walking and they'd be swimming all around the hall.
It's
But where would they come from? They come from the
lake.
lake
Lake.
up.
Yeah.
They go- they would go all the way up.
Clover Creek or middle.
Where you showed the alley bridge, they
Yeah.
even went up there, they used to go way past. They used to
So
go
last
past.
year, when the fish migrated, it was tragic. I watched it. And the younger ones were pushing the older ones because there wasn't enough room. There wasn't enough depth in the water. But it's a beautiful thing to watch. It's beautiful.
But it must have been amazing when it was hundreds of thousands.
I think so. And that's what we want to bring back. And that's why Fish and Wildlife, that's their, if there's an endangered species, they're there with
They
all the
would
money you
respond.
need. And then the water board, boy, the water quality of the lake is an issue. This contributes to
The
that.
sediment and the nutrients, that's why we have the algal blooms and all that stuff.
But a lot of that's from the agricultural stuff too.
Which seeps in, it's
Yeah,
that goes-
sometimes the lake looks pretty sad.
Yeah, but it's been doing that forever. I used to teach water skiing and hot diving. My grandfather used to, we've always had a place up there, and he used to tell me we're all gonna eat each other off the ocean. Like, because it's so shallow, the sun hits the bottom and all the
Yeah.
ocean comes up. But yeah, the contributing toxins are the agricultural components.
Which is gonna give me the opportunity to try to push forward that Clover Creek project I was looking at again for the Blue Ribbon Committee. We met last Thursday, and I'm gonna try that again. They actually asked if I wanted to try to resubmit, but I need to work with Water Resources to get the numbers of what it would cost and things like that, so I'm gonna try that again.
Good job.
That's
It would be nice to
Cecilia, that's her.
Blue Ribbon
She started.
Committee, 8707.
It would be nice to put the whole thing together as a package, instead of having them separate grouping and this thing.
It should be together, Clover Creek and
Or at least linked up somehow.
Yeah, where one depends on the other.
That, because they do.
Yeah, they sure do.
I mean, Clover Creek, you can't even see it.
Right, that's right.
You don't even know it's there.
You do in a couple places, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
because they were funded last year to do Kelsey Creek, And they also have a tulip replanting program. They promoted also at the Blue Ribbon, a new project that I looked into as well. They want to do in the Clear Lake Oaks arm. They want to oxygenate the bottom to try and eliminate some of the algae and whatnot. But the only problem with that is if UC Davis does it and then leaves it, then we have to figure out how to pay for it. From that
Right,
forward.
I
And
get
so,
it.
and it's in once, from what I understand, and I wish Jim was here because he would know,
Yeah.
is that once you do that, it just the lake becomes dependent on that. So
It's an addictive situation.
yes.
Once you start
Well,
doing
but
it,
I
you can
don't
never
think for
stop.
I don't think for the remainder of the life of the lake, I think it'll be dependent on for an amount of time, and then it'll actually be able to function properly again.
Mhm.
But what I'm hoping for is that if you link them up, it's a big deal. I mean, this levee doesn't meet 100-year storm requirements, which says no matter what, it's going to flood. And that means that every business in this town is going to flood, not only the homes. And Bernie said, as I talked to him, I said, just call when we need him, and he'll be here to do whatever he can, because he doesn't want this to happen. That's the tone in the
Yeah.
town. Yeah, so, it's an important component, and we've got support from the community. We've just got to figure the best way forward with the most impact.
Well, I think that's what we're discussing next month, rally the community.
We've got to be,
It work.
if people, we want people here who,
They need to be
yes,
around.
yes. We want to turn out so that,
So I could make a flyer if we can get people to distribute that door to door and post them in areas that are out
post it in every window on the street. So.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
And, word of mouth too, of course.
So what letter are we going to do?
Which one are we going to use?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what we're deciding right now.
Well, you want to
Now, there was one,
go to the other one too and check? them out?
yeah, yes. The next one
Is this
is,
one finished?
yes. It's,
It's all photos.
all the photos are the same for each presentation, it's just the text is different.
Okay. And so there's.
I
this
like
one.
Jim's format because it's very clear and easy to read.
Oh, it's like that.
Oh, it's just,
They don't say the same thing, but
no.
It's close. It's close. I mean, it's not 100% exactly the same. And this is true. And you see, you said put photos that help out close to that. And
You want me to go down or do you want to read it?
just hang on there for a second.
Okay.
Ground extraction contracts assisted in keeping the levee channel, and this was just. But these gravel extraction contracts, what are those?
So those are the things where Larry sold the gravel and whoever else had contracts came in, excavated out the.
So they had, the county hired people?
Yes.
And why did that stop?
We don't have. Why?
I don't know.
Why are
So
they?
this is what we need to find out. We need to find out.
Somehow, I think this is a guess. I think it's a state thing. And the reason I say that is because Spring Valley has a lake reservoir that they have to get out to, like a sediment, and it's full of gravel. And they've been working on this for a long time, like predating, I think Denise Rushing was on when they were, and so they finally got to a point where they signed a contract, and and the engineers are coming to develop the plan, and then I think Don Van Pelt, who is he has a quarry over in Clear Lake Oaks, is going to be the one to transport.
This
Yeah.
is like dredging sort of?
That one is more like dredging, but it's the same
But
concept.
why would
of
they
how-
have, so they can only basically dredge or extract or whatever you want to do. One place at a time in the county, I mean, why would they stop doing it here with this spring?
Well, Spring Valley hasn't been done in the same amount of time. That's what I'm saying is they both stop. They're both as equally full. They have problems, the same problem you're
I got
having.
it.
They have the same problem there.
Got it.
So.
And so I know that theirs is just got to a point where we approved the contract, but they're a CSA, so they also, their water payments for special district goes into their projects for roads and things like that.
So we don't have a CSA, and for those that don't know what that is, it's a Community Services Association.
I wanted to do that with Blue Lakes because they have sediment issues in Blue Lakes as well. And their road in the backside, that's another
And
one.
you can run your own water system, sewer system, anything, and it may not be a bad idea, but that means also you have to fund that with the local community.
With what, special district or something?
Yeah, well, it all depends on how you form it, what you do, and you have to go through LAFCO to get it formed, make a presentation and bring a bunch of people like, I would do smallest, or
How was
CSA.
the reclamation plan? Their records, how was that?
So that's state funded and it's, there's fees, MA16 fees, there's state fees so on their tax bills, instead of paying normal taxes, they also pay another fee. And each time someone buys out in that project, the people that are still there, their payment goes higher. I remember
We looked at property buy in there, and there was just too many fees.
MA17 fees, that's what it's called, yeah. And that's what, a couple of the folks were upset. They said, that's how they're gonna get us out of there. And they're like, well, it's gonna flood eventually.
So what we might want to do is take Jim's format, which I think is good. I think I like this format, and put in some of this detail in this letter. You know what I mean?
This one here from you,
Yeah,
yours?
yeah, this has a lot of detail.
This has, yes, it has some things in it that Jim didn't have. Okay, now, the third one, I put that section definitely in the first one.
Okay, great.
I took the first one and put in some bits, but we might want, I can send you all three of them. You can,
There's nothing redundant. Why don't you just add them together?
well, I think there's some things that are close. You know, there's some things that are close.
What's
But-
the third one?
Well, no, I thought, well, you could send this one to this person, you can send this one to that
No,
person.
no, it's gotta be the same.
All right.
Yeah, this is the third one. And so it looks like you just piecemealed them both together.
Well, it was basically, I took a section, Julia has about a page out of three or four pages of the first one. Julia has another page added in there.
Historical maintenance.
That was Jim's, and here's you. Come up some more.
Right here it says
That's the one from there, and then all your bullet,
Good.
all that stuff, right?
Good.
100 years of me. And that's pretty good.
Good, and that's great,
So,
And then there's all the pictures, right?
perfect. That looks good,
you like that one?
yeah.
So
What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Okay,
What do you guys?
so version 3 will be
So if you agree, you vote on it.
I so moved.
you so moved that we should use version 3
Version 3.
as the official list.
Yeah.
We have a thing in second, and all those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is passed.
Unanimously.
So,
I think the photos are so spot on.
They are.
That really-
Very
and they also have, the ones that Julia took have the GPS on them, so you know exactly where they were taken. So that's,
And going back to the image, which doesn't say what year, I don't notice under the image, it just doesn't say the year.
no,
But are they?
like these ones,
These
these
now. Right.
ones do not have the date.
Well, you know what's
Yeah,
now.
the GPS coordinates have the dates, but the ones
Yes.
that don't have the dates, we're gonna need to put dates on this.
Because whoever's reading this isn't
Yeah.
gonna know whether it's a now or
We
then.
need
Oh,
to put
yeah,
dates
you're
on
right,
them.
you're right.
Oh, you want to put dates on those? Yeah.
I did, go back to the first one, go back to
What
the
you
first
do
one.
is you just make sure that when.
We can have the dates, we can have the exact dates, or
I mean,
No,
the
say it's
ones that I
current,
did have
it's
the
like
dates
present
on
day,
them,
present day.
but the ones that don't have dates on them need dates on them.
It's like this in the first one.
That has
First three.
mid-60s.
That one says early 60s. Well,
That's okay, but that one, we don't know when it was,
So
and the
just
one
put-
below it.
Well, quite honestly, I don't know who it was.
Who did you get it
I think that was from Larry.
from? Ask Larry, he'll know.
And
That would be the date,
that was from Larry too.
yeah, those all need dates.
Yeah, so Tim, what you do is just in your minutes, just add that with additions of the dates to the pictures that they'll
Okay,
vote.
to the
So then that
person.
way, someone can't come back later and say, oh, well, that wasn't the letter you approved. Just say with additions to the dates and any other corrections that you feel need to happen.
33.
Because I'm telling you, there's people that are asking about minutes and agendas that are on the website for the, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get it accurate.
With
We live in-
additions or.
Say that was in the motion.
Yeah, that's all you do.
Of dates, basically dates.
On photos that don't have dates.
So we have to find the dates, we have to find the dates as much as we can.
Larry has.
Larry memory.
Larry has,
Well, yours are pretty much this last year, you did 2021.
they're on there, their dates are on.
Yeah, hers have the GPS right.
And the dates.
Yes. Of dates.
I mean, those are the pictures I use for state regulators, that's. For records, so all my pictures have that stuff.
Okay, so basically,
How's that?
How soon will this go out?
It could go out
Well-
right after this, like,
do we
Because I don't
want
want to wait a month just because we don't.
No,
it
don't
could be
wait.
submitted,
well,
as soon as you make it.
where's it going?
The board of supervisors.
So do we have an email address where we send board of supervisors stuff?
No, we give it to,
You could send it to who you send your agendas to as well, and put it to me and the board, the same way you're going to do it.
How does it get into a board meeting agenda?
Well, you would come to public input, please.
So I would bring this.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not just gonna go and put this on the agenda, and I'll tell you why. If I do that, they're like, Oaks, Lucerne is gonna start throwing things on, and then I'm gonna be having everybody saying, you did it for them, you did it for them. So, I mean, I know this is a very important issue, but,
So you would rather take care of it here?
that's why you're doing the letter, but you can come to public input and talk about it, because then they'll say, talk to your supervisor, and we'll all know that you talked to me, but it'll be on their radar. All of the staff will hear it and be like, we gotta do something.
I have,
So-
I have a concern actually. Why is it bad that all the others would follow us? I think that would be very strong, a strong issue.
It is strong, however, your issue is a serious one. Lucerne might feel like they have a serious one and it's not. And they'll be like,
But that's where the public hearing would be, airing out at supervisor meeting, it would be decided that priorities. This is.
So we're, okay.
Each one is more serious than the other.
What I'm
I
getting
feel
at
this
is,
one is the most serious of all of them.
well, and Clear Lake Oaks thinks they have like 20 serious items too. And so they're already like trying to meet with me weekly on different things about CDD, and it's very similar, and there's ways we can filter it into.
But you
like,
could bring it in as informational, not as a decision maker.
Right, and that's why, but if we don't have them come here first and talk with you all, it wouldn't make sense, you know what I mean? Now, if they come and they don't do nothing, then that's when we go, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? So like, if they come next month and nothing happens still, and you feel like you haven't got, then that's when it's like, okay, we gotta put this on the agenda because they're not doing anything. But if I just throw it right on, the others are pretty keen and they'll do the same thing. They'll want to do the same thing.
I think that get that idea. You want to have a little more steam behind it.
Well,
If you're gonna.
well, here's how it works. You need to lobby a supervisor to get something to get on an agenda, right? That has to be sponsored. Your supervisor, our supervisor, I should say that, is saying, wait, let's get them here. You know, now is not the time. It won't be as effective. Let's wait and see what happens. So the way to get it in front of the board of supervisors, isn't there like info at board of supervisors or something, email that it goes, like when there's an agenda, how do you receive email communication for board?
E-comments?
Through e-comments.
So
online.
for example, if you look
Okay.
on the agenda and you find something that has to do with water resources or anything like this, then that's where you can make the comment as well. But if,
So you've got to e-comments also.
Right.
So the only way you can get any comments in is through an electronic website thing.
Or you can send an email to the agenda item that's on, and then that way it's addressed during it as well. Or you call in, or even come in and comment on it and say, this is a nice this is a nice item. However, our Middle Creek situation is having the same problem.
Or like BJ's suggesting, we go in under public expression, which is to express something that's not on the agenda, and we read the email into the, or the letter into the record. And I think that's our best bet.
Read this letter.
Into the record.
Right, however, well,
Yeah, we would have time to do that.
Yeah, you do.
If you only have,
well, no, what you can, even if it is, let's say that you do it and then stop at 3 minutes, then whoever's next just continues it
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Yeah.
oh, because I've seen people do that. I've seen
Yeah,
people do that.
sure.
For people you don't want to listen to.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm gonna be like, okay, your 3 minutes is up, because I'm gonna be the chair, right? So.
I mean, that's where the others sitting up there with you, say, they remind you.
They will remind you, and I'll say, okay, next, and then you'll just continue on.
Yeah.
And that's,
Okay,
this is
so-
just getting the steps rolling, but, you know.
We've got to get it into the, we've got to somehow get it into the public record.
All right, so I will go to the supervisor meeting. Does somebody, you want to come along?
I'm happy to read the next 3 minutes.
And anybody else want to do it?
Oh, no, absolutely. Now, do you want it read at the next way, or do you want us to wait?
No, you
We'll
can-
let you send it out, and then
it's however you'd like to, so you could send it in and then read it as well.
Yeah.
And then also, even you can have someone else even explain, you know, like a summary as well, you know. That makes sense. Like explain, like, this is why we need it, because you were explaining insurance, people's property, the town's gonna flood, it hurts the roads, things like that.
And business.
Yeah.
with-
And people are worried about living here, period.
Yeah, property values.
Property values.
Property values.
I mean, just some people don't want to deal with it.
I don't, I can tell you I don't, and if I sell my property, I have to disclose it, and I don't even want to deal with that, lowers my property values. I don't want to deal with it.
And basically, we have the mechanism here, it just needs to be repetitive. And that's what we want to do. So when do we do this? When's the next?
The next meeting next week, so you could do it on public input, as long as, what you do is before you go in, you either send in an email saying you want to do public input, or you come in and fill out a form that says.
Are
we're
you
gonna
doing
do-
in-person meeting?
We're doing it, yeah.
Oh, great, so
You could just go
it's
straight
on their
there.
Tuesdays, right? They start at 9 a.m.
So this next one's next Tuesday, and we don't, the next week isn't a meeting, but then there's one on the 6th, so if you want to do it, this would be
So if
ideal.
I brought in the letter printed out, would somebody take it?
You can offer it, they don't necessarily have to take it.
if you brought in things, you can make enough copies for all of the supervisors and your staff that's there.
Right.
And you can ask the chairman if you can handle these it. Hopefully you would say yes.
Yeah.
That's one way to get it into all their hands. And then as you're reading it, they're reading
Would
it.
your goal for this is to get the attention towards the department that you want, because they're all tuned into this meeting. And so like in our other supervisors, we always do this as a joke too. Well, your supervisor's here, you can consult with him, and we already know that we've talked, but this also, it's just also to get it out there. And so they know they have to put it at the front of their burner, if that makes sense. Or at least address or be in tune with what you want and need.
The important thing is to get it into the record.
Yes, I think it is.
And that's why you want a printed copy when you're going there.
Well, I mean,
Not just one, you want
theoretically,
enough to hand to.
That's
theoretically, we could have 5 copies. of
No, you would need, I would say that. And the department that you're referring it to needs one.
So
The
water
department head
resources,
needs one.
Scott, De Leon, Carol, county council. that's
All right,
the
so,
important one.
okay, so we gotta decide right now, how many we need, if we're gonna do this.
You could either send it in, you could send it in as well.
Yes, we can do that as a PDF, blah, 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 you can do whatever you want.
So
But,
what email address?
oh, to Caroline Purdy.
No, BJ, when you say you can send it in via email, what email address?
So you can send it to mine and all the other board of supervisors,
He's-
and then Carol, and then Scott Daly would be ideal.
So we're gonna do that too.
And even Anita Grant, just so she can.
Yeah, I think county council needs.
Carol or Carol May?
Carolyn Purdy? Yeah.
You can say I'm
Yeah, well, and Carol, you would want to send it to her as well,
Hutchinson.
yeah.
Okay, so,
It's not that
I'm
difficult.
gonna need we have to put all this down right now before we go, so I know
It's
where
not,
to send
so
it.
go for it, Tim. It's not that hard, right?
Well, I
You want me
just,
to write it for you?
well, all the email addresses?
Yeah, it's not that
Do you
difficult.
want me just to send them to you, or?
Yes,
Okay, you can just send them to you.
yes, that'd be good. All right,
And then,
so,
and then there's 3 of us willing to go. I can make the copies, Tim, if that's easier for you. I've got an office that does that.
you have an office,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to be able to print in
Yeah.
colors, colors. Okay, so we've got to decide how many copies we need.
No, we don't need to decide. We're making 10.
I think we can.
Yeah,
Okay,
10 standard.
yeah. This is too much attention on how many copies. We've got our attention on presenting.
okay, so, next Tuesday,
Dave,
Hold
oh,
Yeah.
Dave by at Pacific Cut.
the 22nd.
So Dave,
It sounds.
BY at Pacific Cut. Okay, and then I know yours.
Yes, I can do it.
Yes,
So maybe we can meet for coffee at 8:30 at Angelina's.
Then I
Yeah.
got body.
And then head over.
so,
Does that work for you, Tim?
yeah,
that's what I got.
It's within walking distance.
yes,
At 8:30 AM on the 22nd. And then we can just make our game plan. You know, EJ, do you think it's best that we summarize the letter or that we read it?
Just read it.
I think we should too.
How long is it? You better read it out loud to see exactly.
It was 3 pages. Or was it?
3 or 4 at the fourth and
Well, why don't you just read it and then I'll time you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the 3 of us can get together and do that, so we don't have to waste everybody's
I mean, we
time.
didn't really read it, so I mean, it wouldn't
Okay.
hurt if you want to do that real quick, if you have one.
And then we have to figure out the best tag team, because at the end, whoever at the end, or whoever's at the beginning needs to introduce the fact that we're here because of these reasons that we talked about. I'm very passionate about this.
When you're gonna game read, you want to have behind each other. That way, an oddball is.
And anyone else that wants to come, come.
Yeah. Is there, Tim?
Sorry?
Asking about the mental health advisory. Board.
I was just wondering, I'm gonna get ready to go pretty soon. I was wondering if you guys had any questions that way that's like presented to the board advisory.
Homelessness issues. We've got a poor woman that's stealing here, went to jail, now stealing in Lakeport. I think she's back in jail. She has mental health and drug issues. Most of the homeless people have mental health issues.
all right, so,
And how are we gonna deal with these mental health that are homeless?
Well, the wonderful thing is that our mental health advisory board has adopted, taking on this part as well as other counties have. And so we are now setting up a lot of different things around. So it's around making sure that the town cover both the mental health and.
Well, our issue is there's not enough law enforcement to deal with it, and they're not trained to deal with mental health issues. So how are we gonna fill that gap?
That's a great question. So I'll take that to the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, poor Lanisha, she used to be a contributing member of the community, but the thing business and I lost. Yeah, that shaves her head and wears masquerades and we can figure out who she is.
So I also need to know, but I just wanted to, there's a survey that the sheriff's office is putting out about a new alert FM, and they want to know if it will work in the county. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to get more copies of this, but it's got the QR code on it, so if I leave it. you can Take the survey and, we'll find out if it's applicable for Lake County.
And just to comment that, theft is up in, Upper Lake. Basically, their vehicles and.
And they never heard of it.
But they still there.
They are for a few more weeks, but they're strong. They were actually here last week.
Okay, I just sent them to you. Here they are.
Thanks, Mr.
Carolyn, Cheryl.
Windsor.
I sent them to you guys.
I don't have a set date right
Send
now.
it
It says they-
Okay.
No, this is.
Linda, I got hers too right here, yeah. Linda.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the
So I'll make sure I get it.
It should have been here, but I
It would have to be this done.
Linda, got it right here. There it
Next
is.
time we
Man.
have something and then-
So I'm sending this to all of you, so you guys have copies of these
I'll
emails.
see what they can do. I just have to find it.
Are we gonna read it and time it?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So it's the V3 one, is that the one you want to read?
Number three.
Let me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, what was it?
349-6950, and my name is Thomas.
6950?
Yeah, 349-6950. Yeah. I don't know what this is for. What are they trying to do?
So first they did Lake alerts, then they did Zone Haven, so this is kind of a third progressive step to get people informed when there is a disaster or an emergency. And so Sheriff Martin wants to know what's going to work. Or pay thousands of dollars to put it out.
Is it going to be a radio transmission?
It's through the FM radio bands. I don't know much more about it than that,
Well, I think, yeah, I can tell you right now what better.
Yeah,
Anything else, yeah.
just speaking in the sense of the elders still have access to, when they're using the cell phones, when the power outage is very, they use the phone very well with the towers and they go down.
there is a special radio that you have to purchase though, but, I mean, you can get grants to do that. If we can get the initial cost. So you just want to know if it's feasible to do it.
So, hey, I just read, Fish and Wildlife is not on here, the tribe is not on here, the risk management group is on here. Is that at the end of this letter? Are they CC'd? Is there any?
I can do that, I can add that.
Yeah, all the people that were on my letter.
Yes,
are on this
I can
letter.
add this at the bottom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we need to modify the minutes for that too.
Okay. Are we ready for this? I'm gonna start reading.
Okay, tell me when you're ready. Tell me when you're
I
ready.
got it. Start. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Just start reading and I'll press start.
Okay.
Linda's got the timer ready.
It's fine. Okay. 2, the Lake County Board of Supervisors, District 3 Supervisor and the Director, Department of Water Resources, and Assembly Member Aguiar Curry. Purpose. The Western Region Town Hall, as a duly appointed California Community Advisory Council for the Board of Supervisors under state law, provides the following issue, review, and recommendation for action. The board held public meetings and a vote representing a quorum of the Council with Supervisor E.J. Crandall in attendance. The result of these meetings provided this information letter and recommendations to assist the District 3 Supervisor in bringing the issue in front of the Board of Supervisors for remedy. Recommendations. Include an item on the Board of Supervisors agenda to discuss with the Director of Water Resources remedies for the flood safety of citizens and property of Upper Lake, including funding and timeline. The discussion should include the program for maintenance, which would keep the Middle Creek flood bypass channel in continuous proper repair in anticipation of unpredictable high rainfall storms, and a program for maintenance of historical Clover Creek, including proper channel bed elevations and vegetation control. Background regarding bypass channel. The town of Upper Lake was formed in 1858 within the floodplain of Middle Creek and tributaries such as Clover Creek at the upper reaches of the Middle Creek wetland. This geographical position placed the town at risk for occasional seasonal flooding. A subsequent project by the Army Corps of Engineers developed a bypass channel to carry floodwaters of Middle Creek and Clover Creek tributary past the Upper Lake properties to the Middle Creek wetland. Because the elevation changes in the bypass channel are in low gradient, sediment will accumulate following significant transport flows. The erosion action of these flows will also degrade channel banks. These changes reduce the channel capacity and combined with accumulation of channel bed vegetation provide a significant risk for flooding at increasingly lower flow levels. Even though annual rainfall totals have been at low amounts in the last few years, atmospheric river events are a known global moisture conveyor delivering unpredictable rainfall within a short period of time. These sometimes intense storm flows entering the channel can overwhelm its primary design, particularly when at a reduced capacity. The channels must be kept at an anticipatory flood flow capacity at all times with maintenance performed during off-season times. This maintenance activity must be carried out under the proper agency maintenance permits and with the cooperation of the local tribes who have cultural interests. During our discussions, it came to our attention that the county may not be keeping agency maintenance permits current. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife allows for a 5-year agreement that can be rolled over another 5 years, which is significant time to develop documentation for the next series of agreements protecting natural resources. At no time should there be a lapse of permit. In the opinion of knowledgeable citizens backed by historical flood occurrences, the channels and associated levee banks are in need of maintenance to restore them to original capacity. The first order is to remove the vegetation, and the next is to remove gravel accumulation as soon as practicable. A proliferation of burrow-dwelling animals have further compromised some sections of the levee. These conditions need review by professional staff. Historical channel maintenance. In previous meetings, it came to our attention that money was available through the Blue Ribbon Committee to improve the original Clover Creek channel through Upper Lake. Some water still passes through this channel even during low flows. The improvement proposed in lowering the bed level to reduce groundwater. The improvement proposed lowering the bed level to reduce groundwater levels within the town. This will protect street services, maintain dry subfloor areas, and provide an additional flood capacity. An additional need is to remove channel capacity, reducing vegetation, and return the traditional use of Clover Creek for hitch, Lavinia, etc. Migration, a meaningful fish for local tribes and significant for the natural lake ecology. This funding did not become available, but another round could be made available with the cooperation of Assemblymember Aggie Curry's office in the Blue Ribbon Committee, developed under her direction as supported by the proper funding levels required and justifications developed by the county. Gravel extraction contracts assisted in keeping the levee channel at original depths designed for maximum efficiency of flows within the levee, including natural hydrology clearing of sediment. When the gravel extraction ceased, sediment delivery began collecting in the channel. The collection of sediment in the levee channel, reducing flow volume, lack of channel vegetation mitigation, creating natural dams impeding flow, and lack of lake and stream bed alteration agreements permitting ongoing maintenance steps significantly contributed to the Upper Lake flood in 1994 due to a levee breach. This flood resulted in homes and businesses being shut down due to 5 feet of standing water, prohibiting habitability and commerce in Upper Lake. While Upper Lake is not new to flooding, the purpose of the Middle Creek Flood Control Project and Clover Creek Diversion Structure was to stop flooding in Upper Lake homes and businesses and supporting public health and safety of those citizens and businesses. The current condition of the Middle Creek Flood Control Project and Clover Creek Diversion Structure exhibits decades of neglect, resulting in the following. The levee will not survive climate change events, including 100-year storm events. This is documented by the engineering firm in charge of the recent engineer study who attended the 2021 community events. Channel bank displacement and sediment delivery occurs after every rain event. The rain event in December 2021 resulted in an approximately 50-foot by 3-foot swath of the channel bank sloughing into the channel, a water column quality violation, and pitch habitat alteration resulting in endangered species violations. Site plan. Please see attached photo. Channel sediment collection, reducing channel capacity, and catalyzing imminent flooding of Upper Lake via levee breach. December 2021 rain even resulted in little to no freeboard of the levee. Imminent flooding and levee breaks that will result in unprecedented flooding of the lake. The hydrology of the water alone due to a levee break will certainly result in catastrophic loss and long-standing high water levels not seen in prior Upper Lake floods. The residents of Upper Lake are currently engaged with a seasoned PhD hydrologist to summarize documented impacts based on hydrology. Elevated impact due to climate change to the homes and businesses of Upper Lake and the potential of catastrophic community impact. Escalated fire danger due to 3 to 5 feet high weed, grass, fuel roads that are machinery mowed in the highest fire season time of year, along with other maintained fire hazard vegetation in the levee channels. Outdated and unmaintained debilitated structures that no longer function properly or are inadequate for their original purpose. Supporting information for the bypass channel. Board discussions revealed that the situation of the bypass channel is worrisome to both the residents and business owners who have been forced to reconsider their continued residence in the area. Please consider the following documentation. The bypass channel not available. Not available is the proposed Clover Creek Natural Channel Project detail developed by professional. And then it has a list of fixers. Respectfully submitted in the interest of the Lake community, Tim Chiara, Chair, and Board Council. And we'll put the other CCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to say that when you read. Well, you could, right? But that's 3 people.
Yeah,
That's gotta be-
yeah.
Is that what, that's?
Yeah, and you don't have to say board of supervisors, you can say BOS, there's ways to shorten it.
Okay, well,
But
that's.
even as long as you went, if you just had 3 people read it, so when you stop, the next person picks up, and the next person picks up, and then you'll be good with 3. I have 853, something like that.
I was kind of pushing it too. I was kind of pushing.
Yeah, you were reading at a good pace too.
Yeah.
We have one lady that comes in like an auctioneer, and we're just like, we don't want to hear it. Yeah.
We gotta figure out where the 3 minutes ends.
Well, I think they'll tell us, and then we just. hand the letter
Yeah, you
on to
could
the
just
next
mark it and say,
Okay.
read from here.
Yeah.
That too.
You know, like the handout.
There you go, like a relay race.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I gotta go.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for your input. Keep up the fight. All right. Say what?
Do you have anything else?
Oh, we're way past time.
No, but it was important that you got a good gauge on that, and of course, some people are gonna probably like say things like, well, how come you just don't, this is what, I'll give you an example. Spring Valley was so upset about the illegal grows out there, it's a community growth boundary, and so they kept coming to the board of supervisors, and they didn't read a letter, but they kept saying things and doing that, and eventually, that's how they started pushing for the roadmap task force. I wasn't on the committee that chose it, but I was glad they did. So, so with that situation, it was where they started. So I think that played a difference. And also code enforcement started going out there now. So,
Well, I did notice in this, we're kind of swooping your project into here, which is fine, but, I don't want to muddy any water.
oh, the Clover Creek?
Yeah, I mean, Scott DeLeon, when I asked about my form of information request, I immediately responded, well, what are you really talking about? You know, are you talking about your project or this project?
Where's focus?
Well, too, the other thing about it is Middle Creek restoration sometimes might get, that might get sometimes mistaken because that's the whole other issue, so, yeah.
That's kind of
It's
south
in
of
here.
20. This is what we're feeding into that, aren't we?
Right.
Yeah,
But I mean, that meeting in December of 2021, they were talking about flood control.
yes.
Yeah,
I think it's a-
But it's like the only thing I didn't know was on. They didn't bring
Yeah,
it
no,
up.
that's not the issue. I'm not worried about it. It needs to move forward, and this is great to move it forward any way we can.
Yeah.
in my opinion. And we'll get down to the details later on, but we need to keep coming in front of the board. We can't stop.
Or we have to start and continue.
yeah, because I think it's a good pass off that when you come to read it at the meeting, and then he'll come to the meeting, and you know what I mean, to this meeting, you know, or him or who his designee will, and then if you know, if something's not done from there, then, you know, we have done a lot of what you need to be doing here. Doesn't seem like anything else, you know, we would have to try to do, except for, I would be put pressure on the board to say, stop, what's going on with this, you know, so.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the December meeting, they were talking about upgrading the levy or?
Yeah, that's a long-term solution.
Oh, yeah,
That's not
yeah,
gonna happen for another 10 years.
okay.
So, we just need to keep coming back. And I wonder, did they tell you what that orange paint is? What have they marked out with that orange paint? And the tomato page that has orange on it? Do you know? It's in you guys' picture. So that might be something that we ask, well, what is the orange paint for?
Okay, that was a picture you took, you had, okay.
I sent to you too.
I got it, I got it.
Or wait, am I behind on my photos? You know, I try to send them late at night when I'm in bed, because that's not time I have.
You know, the levee is flat, not the levee, but the creek is flat on both sides of white flags. What are those all about?
Where is this?
Middle Creek.
Middle Creek, out over there.
Yeah, it's flag, white flags tied onto tree branches.
So white flags and the orange cage, you said?
Yeah.
And orange spray paint on the grass.
Huh.
It might be good to get another person to come and ask these questions, you know, because we'll each only have 3 minutes.
Well, they're not gonna answer questions in public input,
That's all right, you can still ask.
just ask them, yeah.
Because what that does too, EJ, is it says we're watching this situation closely.
Could be. You said, just as long as you get the questions asked.
Yeah, it says to them, we're watching, right? We're watching this situation closely, and we want to be informed.
Yeah.
And we don't need the questions answered right now, but, you know, we can keep asking until they do get answered, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even a workshop on this project with staff.
They even, some of the folks that came in the other one, they brought signs that said defund code enforcement. That's what I said.
But you were talking about having a stakeholder meeting,
Yes,
we sort of, like right here, sort of thing.
well, a stakeholder is not this meeting, it's all the stakeholders.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we could meet here.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
you can be wherever.
Yeah, but that's the important part of it. You need to find out.
Yeah.
whether that's-
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, no, Bernie will be here, he'll be here.
Like the CDs.
is there a motion to adjourn?
There, I was making a motion.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
for our work on this levy issue.
We're getting together Tuesday.